Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Doug Kenney and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenney and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenney. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug, and he took on the coaching and mentoring, and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people. And Doug has now taken over the whole channel, and he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenney from Relentless and Unstoppable, and today we have Shareen with us. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Glad to hear it. Where are you at the moment?
I currently reside in East Bay, California, near the Bay Area.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice area. San Francisco Bridge and Golden Gate Bridge and, Oakland. It's heard a
We're
lot of
very
good things about
spoiled
that
with our
place.
weather.
Yeah. So you live near the ocean, right?
I do.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and who you are.
Oh, wow. Okay, so my name is Shareen Rivera, and for those who don't know me, I am a seasoned ghostwriter. I've ghostwritten 42 books, and I started my publishing company, Rising Above Publishing Services, in 2019, and we have published 150 books so far. And this, what I'm doing right now, definitely was not my plan or even a vision that I had growing up. I never saw myself as an entrepreneur, but life doesn't always go as we plan. And I grew up, my grandparents raised me. Both of my parents were mentally ill, as we had discussed earlier, and homeless, addicted to meth and alcohol. And I went through a lot of childhood trauma and very suppressed a lot of it growing up. And it all kind of came to a head when in my marriage, I married young, and I left my ex-husband after 10 years when I was 30 with my 2 children to start over. And I just decided that I'm going to give my children different. As a single mom, I want to break all of these cycles, and I want to heal, not understanding though what that required of me. But I took a leap of faith on myself, and I started writing my first book, and God met me exactly where I was, and I haven't looked back, and here I am today.
Yeah, for sure. So what was the reason that you went through so many struggles? Do you have examples that you're willing to share?
Yes. So, when I grew up, of course, you don't really have a choice what family you're born into, right? And my mom was always an alcoholic. So she lost custody of me when I was close to 10. My sister was 6. But before that, it was just a lot of chaos. My mom was in and out of rehab. My father was in and out of my life. He would disappear for a few years at a time and then come back. And my grandparents took us in when I was very young, but then when my mom would come back, would go with my mom. But during these periods, my grandma had her own business and I would stay with my grandfather. He sexually abused me when I was 4. And, when that happens to you at a young age by someone who is your guardian, who takes care of you, and you have no other place to go, your defense mechanism that a lot of people develop is suppressing it, forgetting about it, and then justifying it in your mind and pushing back the hurt and the pain that comes with that. So that's what happened to me. And I think because I suppressed these memories so much during my life that I was running away from myself. And so at a very young age, I became sexually active. I got into relationships. I married young and into abusive marriage. And it really was all a result from me not dealing with my trauma, with my pain. And I was forced to do that when in my 30s because I loved my children so much. And I knew that that's what I had to do in order to give them different.
That's amazing that you were able to address that when there's a lot of people in this world that won't want to address it or will think that they're perfect the way they are when they're not,
Yeah, we all have reasons for making bad decisions, right? There's always going to be a reason to do something that's probably not the best thing. And in order to stop doing that, we have to take accountability for ourselves. We can't blame our parents and the people who raised us for the rest of our life because excuses don't really get you anywhere. And we have to learn how to be okay being uncomfortable, being vulnerable, and dealing with the things that we don't necessarily want to deal with. If you keep a wound covered up under a Band-Aid, it's not going to ever really heal. You have to give it some air so that it can breathe and that it could heal. And the same thing goes with the wounds of our soul.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also a survivor of addiction, and I've been sober for 4 years now, but it was to soda.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. When I was younger, at 5 years old, I was given a bottle of Dr. Pepper after a restless night, hoping the caffeine would get me functional. I tried it, was hooked, and then in 5th grade and beyond, I gained a lot of weight. And by the time my senior year of high school ended, I was 300 pounds and fluctuated between 300 to 320 and back and forth for the next several years. And I was not as recognizable as I am now because I had a lot of fat.
How much soda were you drinking?
All of it, any of it, anything I could get my hands
Like how
on.
many cans, though?
It wasn't cans. Around the time that I quit from 2016 on, and from 2016 until 2020 anyway, the maximum I would have every day was sometimes, if not mostly, 2 liters.
Wow. You know what? I am so incredibly proud of you because I know that losing, not my experience, but family members losing that much weight and not drinking soda, that's a very, very hard thing to kick.
It's very, very hard. And
Yeah.
it was not easy to lose that weight. But once I quit drinking all that soda, my body got eager for health food and fitness. And within 4 years, I went from 320 to this last week, I was 37. No. This last week, I was 178, I believe, in weight.
Wow, congratulations. Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened without the self-growth that I had through the mentorship of my longtime coach and mentor, Andy McPhee.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have happened without him.
And God, because God brought you the right person that you needed to push you.
Yep, definitely. Andy was definitely sent by God because I was not in a good place after my high school years ended. And the
Mm-hmm.
soda addiction was proof of it, because I was using that to cope, and it was an unhealthy way to cope. And, without God giving Andy and bringing him into my life, I don't know where I would be at. I would have diabetes probably at this point, or possibly
Yeah.
even a heart attack.
Yep. Yep. And depression. Depression
And
is a very real thing when you're overweight like that.
yeah, because your body's not happy. Depression is linked to a gut, how your
Mm-hmm.
gut feels and the stuff you're eating.
Yep. For sure.
I have never been happier since quitting that addiction. And trust me, I've had moments where I could have slipped back in, but I stayed strong and did not drink any more soda. For example, one time I ordered Grubhub, DoorDash, and I was given a can of Sprite when they didn't have the drink I wanted. I just dumped it in the toilet, did not even touch it.
Wow. Good for you. Yeah,
Yep.
it's amazing when you've never been really connected with your body. When you do, when you get that first connection with your physical body and you start seeing results in yourself and how you feel, it's amazing how that can be enough motivation just to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. Just wondering, what were your experiences like when you had your rebirth and you committed your life to the Lord and Jesus?
So they weren't pretty. I mean, to be on, I'm going to be completely honest. My healing is not pretty. It's not all flowers and rainbows. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of guilt and shame that's attached to that, because at least for me, is like as soon as I thought that I healed something about myself, then I became instantly aware of some other part that needed my attention. And I now understand that healing is really like peeling an onion. There's always these different layers that you get to when you're done with the first layer, right? And so most of my early 30s, I was a single mom. So I spent taking care of my children, but just, in and out of different relationships with men. And I came to a place where there was no more blaming anybody else for that but me, right? I had to understand that I had become addicted to being a victim. I had I had to take accountability for that. I had to take accountability for the fact that, drinking all the time wasn't getting me anywhere, even if it was social drinking. And, when you're trying to heal something yourself and you don't include God in it, you just make a mess of things. And so that's really what I did. I made a mess of things. I tried to change my ways by, instead of opening the Bible, and going back to my roots, I got involved in a lot of new age practices, what many would call witchcraft, thinking that, it's all good things like crystals and all of this stuff, and that it's good because, in the Bible it says the devil approaches as a benevolent angel. And so it didn't seem like I was hurting anything or anyone. And the more I learned, the deeper I got. I'm sorry, there's like a little gnat flying around. The deeper I got, and the worse, the more mess I started to create. Things were going very good for a while for me, and I was feeling great, but I quickly learned that as soon as you open the door to the enemy, to the devil, he just needs a crack. And I started feeling like I was losing my mind, to be honest with you. I started getting thoughts that I knew were not mine, like suicidal thoughts, and I wasn't suicidal. Like these thoughts would come to me like, oh, you need to die, or you should just die. And I was like, why would this thought come to me? Like, I don't think about dying. I don't want to die. I love my life. And then just things were going wrong, like everything, it was just weird. It was very weird. I felt like I was under some kind of demonic attack, to be honest. It just felt very dark, very heavy. And again, God, right? He brings us people. So out of nowhere, a pastor called me and wanted to meet with me. for me to ghostwrite his book. And during the meeting, the pastor was prophesying to me. He prayed over me. And the following week, the Holy Spirit really filled my heart. I started reading my Bible, and children and I got baptized. And I gave my life to the Lord for the second time in my life, because I had been baptized at 12, but I felt like I needed to do that again. And my children got baptized, and it was like this amazing transformation occurred in my life. You know, in the Bible, it says that the Lord will give you a new mind. And that's exactly what he did. He gave me a new mind. When I look back at things that I used to do or how I used to think, it doesn't even seem like it was me. You know, it's just a completely new approach to dealing with problems and this unexplainable peace, no matter what's happening in my life. Doesn't matter what numbers in my bank account or what problems are going on in life. I just feel very confident that I'm being taken care of. The Lord is providing for me. And I don't have worries. Like, I don't spend my time worrying about things that will be handled. You know, I have faith that it will be handled. As long as I'm doing my part, God will take care of the rest. And I never used to have that. And when it came to healing with my trauma, the Lord really took over in that aspect of it for me. And I started to understand that because of my inability to forgive people in the past, I was trying to heal the remnants and the result of unforgiveness. What I had to do was I had to learn how to forgive the people that hurt me. And once I did that, I closed the door to the enemy. And I was not able to do that without the Holy Spirit, without giving the Lord the permission to have the Holy Spirit come and give me the strength and the heart condition I needed to forgive. And he did. And it was almost like I woke up one day and I had absolutely no anger, no hatred towards anybody that has done any wrong to me. And it was almost like I had this overwhelming love for them, where I felt bad for them, that they were hurting so bad that they had to hurt me. And I'm not a saint. I'm not anything like that, but it was something I had never experienced before, because I had hung on to so much anger. And you don't realize what a heavy burden that is until you are free from it. Carrying anger and resentment around is very heavy, and we actually hurt ourselves when we're doing that, you know. And so I healed a lot of my trauma by forgiveness and forgiving me, forgiving myself.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.